Millionaire abandons wife. 10 years later, he sees her at the airport with a young man who looks. A bustling airport, a successful businessman rushing to his next flight. Suddenly, time freezes. He sees a face he never thought he'd see again, his ex-wife. But it's not her that stops his heart. It's the young boy by her side, a mirror image of himself at that age. In that moment, Gabriel Reeves realizes the magnitude of his mistake 10 years ago. He didn't just abandon a wife. He abandoned a son he never knew existed. As the crowd surges between them, Gabriel makes a split-second decision that will upend his carefully constructed life. He turns away from his gate, away from the empire he's built, and towards a past he thought he'd left behind. Little does he know, this is just the beginning. Secrets will unravel, alliances will shift, and the very definition of family will be tested. In the next 15 minutes, you'll witness a tale of redemption, unconditional love, and the true meaning of family that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about second chances. Are you ready to embark on this emotional roller coaster? Buckle up, because once this story starts, you won't be able to look away. The bustling Chicago O'Hare International Airport hummed with activity on that crisp Friday morning. Gabriel Reeves, a striking figure in his tailored charcoal suit, strode purposefully through the crowded terminal, his polished leather shoes clicking against the floor. At 45, he exuded an air of success and authority, yet a hint of weariness lurked behind his steel blue eyes. Checking his platinum watch for the umpteenth time, Gabriel sighed. Another business trip, another city, another deal to close. Despite the trappings of wealth surrounding him, from his designer luggage to the first-class ticket tucked into his passport, he felt an emptiness that no amount of money seemed to fill. As he approached his gate, weaving through the sea of travelers, something caught his eye. A woman with chestnut hair walked by, holding the hand of a boy about 10 years old. Gabriel froze, his breath catching in his throat. The woman's face was achingly familiar, stirring memories he'd long tried to bury. "Olivia," he whispered, incredulous. But it wasn't just the sight of Olivia that shocked him. The boy beside her was like looking into a mirror of the past. The same unruly blonde hair, the same determined set of the jaw, even the way he walked, it was all eerily familiar. Gabriel felt his legs weaken as a disturbing thought crept into his mind. Could it be, he wondered, panic rising in his chest? Was Olivia pregnant when he left? Did he have a son he never knew existed? Guilt crashed over him like a tidal wave. Memories flooded back, sneaking out of their shared apartment a decade ago, leaving only a cold, impersonal letter on the kitchen table. He remembered Olivia's peaceful face as she slept, unaware that her world was about to shatter. Gabriel's hand trembled as he reached out, desperate to call out to them, to explain, to understand. But the crowd surged between them, a river of strangers separating him from the family he'd abandoned. "Olivia," he called out, his voice lost in the cacophony of airport announcements and chattering passengers. He pushed through the throng, heart racing, but it was too late. By the time he broke free, Olivia and the boy had vanished, swallowed up by the terminal's chaos. Panting, Gabriel spun around, searching frantically for any sign of them. His phone buzzed insistently in his pocket. Alessandra, no doubt, wondering why he hadn't boarded yet. He ignored it, still scanning the crowd. "Sir, are you all right?" A concerned flight attendant approached, noticing his agitated state. Gabriel barely heard her, his mind reeling from the implications of what he'd just witnessed. In that moment, standing amid the airport's bustle, Gabriel Reeves made a decision that would alter the course of his life forever. I'm not boarding," he managed to say, still distracted. The flight attendant looked surprised, but Gabriel was already walking away, his steps quickening as he headed towards the exit. He had to find them. He had to know the truth. And somehow, he had to try to right the terrible wrong he had committed a decade ago. As he burst out of the airport into the crisp Chicago air, Gabriel pulled out his phone, scrolling through his contacts until he found the name he needed. "Dominic," he said as soon as the call connected, "it's Gabriel. I need your help to find someone. It's urgent." The life he'd carefully constructed over the past 10 years suddenly felt like a house of cards, ready to collapse. But for the first time in a long time, Gabriel felt something stir within him, a mix of fear, hope, and determination. Whatever the cost, he would uncover the truth and face the consequences of his past actions. As Gabriel sat in the back of a taxi, speeding away from the airport, his mind drifted back to a time that seemed like another life entirely. He closed his eyes, memories washing over him like a bittersweet tide. 10 years earlier, Gabriel and Olivia's modest apartment buzzed with the energy of young love and shared dreams. Olivia, her chestnut hair tied back in a messy bun, graded papers at the kitchen table, while Gabriel pored over financial reports on the couch. Gabe, Olivia called out, excitement in her voice. Guess what? The principal mentioned there might be an opening for the head teacher position next year. Gabriel looked up, a distracted smile on his face. That's great, honey, he replied, his eyes already drifting back to his work. Olivia's smile faltered slightly. I was thinking if I get it, maybe we could start saving for that master's degree I've been talking about. Gabriel chuckled, shaking his head. A master's? In elementary education? Come on, Liv. It's not like you're going to be earning big bucks teaching kids to color. The hurt in Olivia's eyes was palpable, but Gabriel, focused on his ambitions, failed to notice. It was a scene that played out with increasing frequency, Olivia's dreams dismissed, her achievements minimized. As the taxi wove through Chicago's streets, Gabriel's memories shifted to darker times. He saw himself, younger and driven by an insatiable hunger for success, meeting Alessandra Cortez at a business conference. Her world of high-stakes deals and luxury was intoxicating. You have so much potential, Gabriel, Alessandra had purred, her hand on his arm. Why settle for less when you could have it all? Those words echoed in his mind, fueling his ambition and slowly poisoning his relationship with Olivia. He remembered late nights at the office, missed anniversaries, and broken promises. Olivia's patience wore thin, her once bright smile dimming with each passing day. The final memory hit Gabriel like a punch to the gut. He saw himself, suitcase in hand, penning a cold goodbye letter in the pre-dawn light. Olivia slept peacefully in their bed, unaware that her world was about to shatter. I can't do this anymore, Olivia, he had written. I need more from life than you can give me. Please don't try to find me. As he placed the letter on the kitchen table, a framed photo caught his eye, Olivia and him on their wedding day, faces alight with joy and promise. For a moment his resolve wavered, but then Alessandra's voice whispered in his mind, you deserve more, and he steeled himself, walking out without a backward glance. What Gabriel didn't know then, what he couldn't have imagined, was that Olivia had a secret of her own, one that would have changed everything had he only stayed a few more days. The taxi jolted to a stop, yanking Gabriel back to the present. As he paid the fare, another memory surfaced, one he'd buried deep in his psyche. A young Gabriel, no more than 7, watching his father walk out the door, suitcase in hand, never to return. His mother's sobs, the crushing weight of abandonment, it all came flooding back. Christ, Gabriel muttered, running a hand over his face. He realized, with a sickening clarity, that he had become the very thing he'd sworn never to be. Standing on the sidewalk outside Dominic Farrell's office, Gabriel took a deep breath. The weight of his past decisions pressed down on him, but for the first time in years he felt a glimmer of something long forgotten, the desire to make things right, no matter the cost. With determination in his step, Gabriel walked towards the detective's office, ready to begin the journey of uncovering the truth and facing the consequences of his actions. The path ahead was uncertain, but he knew one thing for sure: he couldn't run from his past any longer. Gabriel sat across from Dominic Farrell, the private detective's office, a cluttered testament to years of solved cases and unearthed secrets. Dominic, a man in his 50s with salt and pepper hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing, listened intently as Gabriel recounted his airport encounter. So, you want me to find your ex-wife and a boy who might be your son? Dominic summarized, his voice neutral, but his gaze scrutinizing. You do realize the ethical implications here, Mr. Reeves? Gabriel nodded, his jaw tight. I understand, Dominic. But I need to know. If I have a son, he trailed off, the magnitude of the possibility overwhelming him. Dominic sighed, leaning back in his chair. All right, I'll see what I can dig up, but Gabriel, tread carefully. You're not just digging into your past, you're potentially upending multiple lives. Over the next few days, Gabriel found himself in a state of constant anxiety. He postponed business meetings, much to Alessandra's increasing frustration, and spent hours pacing his hotel room. When Dominic finally called with information, Gabriel's heart nearly leapt out of his chest. She still lives in the same neighborhood, Dominic reported. A small house on Maple Street. And yes, she has a son. Liam Chen Reeves, age 10. The confirmation hit Gabriel like a physical blow. A son. He had a son. Armed with the address, Gabriel found himself driving down Maple Street the very next day. His palms were sweaty on the steering wheel as he parked across from the modest house Dominic had described. A child's bicycle leaned against the porch, and a swing swayed gently in the front yard. For hours, Gabriel sat in his car, gathering the courage to approach. As the sun began to set, the front door opened. Gabriel's breath caught in his throat as Olivia emerged, followed by Liam and a man he assumed must be Jasper Holloway, Olivia's boyfriend. They were laughing, a happy family on their way to some evening activity. Gabriel sank lower in his seat, a whirlwind of emotions consuming him, guilt, regret, jealousy, and a growing determination. The next day, unable to stay away, Gabriel returned to Maple Street. This time he saw Liam playing alone in the front yard. Gathering all his courage, Gabriel approached, his heart pounding. "Hey there," he said, trying to keep his voice casual. "Is this your ball?" He held up a soccer ball he'd brought as a prop. Liam looked up, his green eyes so like Gabriel's own, regarding him with curiosity. "No, it's not mine." "Oh, my mistake," Gabriel replied, his mouth dry. "Do you play soccer?" Liam shrugged. "Sometimes with my stepdad Jasper." The word stepdad hit Gabriel like a punch to the gut, but he maintained his composure. "That's great. I used to play a lot when I was your age." They chatted for a few more minutes, Gabriel savoring every second, memorizing every detail of his son's face. Just as he was about to introduce himself properly, a voice called out from the house. "Liam, who are you talking to?" Olivia appeared on the porch, her eyes widening in shock as she recognized Gabriel. In an instant, she was by Liam's side, her arm protectively around his shoulders. "Gabriel," she said, her voice a mix of surprise and wariness. "What are you doing here?" The moment of truth had arrived. Gabriel swallowed hard, looking from Olivia to Liam and back again. "Olivia, I saw you at the airport. I needed to talk to you." Olivia's eyes narrowed. "After 10 years, you just show up out of the blue." Liam looked between them, confusion evident on his face. "Mom, who is this?" The tension in the air was palpable. Gabriel opened his mouth to speak, but Olivia cut him off. "Liam, go inside, please. I need to talk to this gentleman alone." As Liam reluctantly went inside, Olivia turned to Gabriel, her eyes flashing with anger and hurt. "You have no right to be here, Gabriel. No right to disrupt our lives." "Olivia, please," Gabriel pleaded. "I know I made a terrible mistake, but Liam, he's my son, isn't he?" Olivia's silence was all the confirmation he needed. Gabriel felt his world shift on its axis, the full weight of his past actions crashing down upon him. "Leave, Gabriel," Olivia said quietly. "Just leave us alone." As she turned to go back inside, Gabriel called out, desperation in his voice. "Olivia, wait. Please, I want to make things right." Olivia paused at the door, not turning around. "It's too late for that, Gabriel. 10 years too late." With that, she disappeared inside, leaving Gabriel standing alone on the sidewalk, the magnitude of what he'd lost, and what he now hoped to regain, overwhelming him completely. The tension that had been building since Gabriel's reappearance finally erupted one sunny Saturday afternoon. Liam, returning from a game of soccer with friends, spotted Gabriel chatting with Olivia on the porch. The pieces suddenly clicked into place in the boy's mind. "It's him, isn't it?" Liam shouted, running towards them. "He's my real dad." Olivia and Gabriel froze, caught off guard by Liam's sudden understanding. The soccer ball Liam had been carrying fell from his hands, rolling down the driveway unnoticed. "Liam, I can explain," Olivia started, her voice trembling. But Liam was already in tears, anger and confusion clear in his young face. "You lied to me, both of you." Gabriel stepped forward, his heart breaking at the sight of his son's pain. "Liam, it's my fault. Your mother was just trying to protect you." "Protect me?" Liam shouted, his voice cracking. "By lying. By letting me think Jasper was my dad." The commotion drew the attention of neighbors, curious faces peeking out from behind curtains. Olivia, noticing this, tried to calm the situation. "Liam, please, let's go inside and talk about this." But Liam was beyond reason. "No, I don't want to talk. You've been lying to me my whole life." He turned to Gabriel, his green eyes, so like his father's, filled with hurt and accusation. "And you abandoned us. Why did you leave? Why did you come back?" The painful confrontation lasted for what felt like hours, with Liam alternating between angry outbursts and heart-wrenching sobs. Olivia tried to explain, to soothe, but her words seemed to fall on deaf ears. Gabriel, facing the harsh consequences of his past actions, struggled to find the right words to reach his son. As the emotional storm raged on the porch, Jasper's car pulled into the driveway. He stepped out, his expression darkening as he took in the scene before him. "What's going on here?" Jasper demanded, quickly moving to stand beside Olivia and Liam. Gabriel straightened, feeling like an intruder. "Jasper, I presume." "I'm Gabriel Reeves, Liam's biological father." Jasper's jaw tightened. "I know who you are. What I want to know is why you're here, upsetting my family." The word might hit Gabriel like a physical blow, but he steeled himself. "I'm trying to make things right." "Right?" Jasper scoffed. "You abandoned them. You don't get to waltz back in after 10 years and play happy families." The tension between the two men was palpable, crackling in the air like electricity before a storm. Liam looked between them, torn and confused. "Stop it," Olivia interjected, her voice sharp. "This isn't helping Liam." But the damage was done. Liam, overwhelmed by the conflict surrounding him, suddenly turned and ran down the street. "Liam!" Olivia cried out, starting after him. Gabriel and Jasper both moved to follow, but Olivia whirled on them. "No, you two have done enough. I'll go after him." As Olivia disappeared down the street in pursuit of Liam, Gabriel and Jasper were left facing each other on the porch, years of unspoken resentment and rivalry hanging between them. "You need to leave," Jasper said, his voice low and dangerous. "You've caused enough pain." Gabriel stood his ground. "I'm not going anywhere. Liam is my son." "Your son?" Jasper laughed bitterly. "Where were you when he had nightmares? When he learned to ride a bike? When he needed a father?" Each question was like a knife to Gabriel's heart, but he refused to back down. "I made a mistake, a terrible one, but I'm here now and I want to be part of Liam's life." "You lost that right when you walked out on them," Jasper growled, stepping closer. The tension between them finally snapped. Neither man was sure who threw the first punch, but suddenly they were grappling on the porch, years of pent-up emotions unleashed in a flurry of fists. They crashed through the railing, tumbling onto the lawn. Neighbors gasped and shouted, some rushing to intervene, others calling the police. By the time Olivia returned with a tear-stained Liam, she found Gabriel and Jasper being separated by concerned neighbors, both sporting bruised faces and torn clothes. "What is wrong with you two?" Olivia cried out, her voice a mix of anger and disbelief. "How dare you do this in front of Liam?" Liam, seeing the two men he called Dad bloodied and disheveled, burst into fresh tears and ran into the house. As sirens wailed in the distance, signaling the approach of the police, Gabriel and Jasper stood on opposite sides of the yard, chests heaving, the full weight of their actions sinking in. Olivia, her face a mask of disappointment and exhaustion, looked between them. "I think you both need to leave, now." As Gabriel limped back to his car and Jasper retreated into the house, Olivia was left standing alone in the yard, the broken porch railing a fitting metaphor for the shattered piece of their lives. She knew that after today, nothing would ever be the same again. While the dust settled on Maple Street, across town in a luxurious penthouse apartment, Alessandra Cortez paced like a caged panther. Her stilettos clicked against the marble floor, a rhythmic counterpoint to her rising anger. Gabriel hadn't returned her calls in days, and her carefully manicured nails tapped an impatient rhythm on her phone as she listened to his voicemail for the umpteenth time. "Damn it, Gabriel," she hissed, ending the call. Something was wrong, she could feel it. In all their years together, he had never been this elusive, this distracted. Alessandra's dark eyes narrowed as she gazed out over the Chicago skyline. She hadn't clawed her way to the top by being naive. Whatever was going on with Gabriel, she was determined to find out. With a decisive nod, she speed-dialed a number. "Victor, it's Alessa. I need you to do some digging for me. Find out what Gabriel Reeves has been up to lately. And I mean everything." Within hours, Alessandra had her answer. The photos from Victor's surveillance showed Gabriel outside a modest house, talking to a woman and a young boy. Alessandra's blood boiled as she recognized the woman from an old photo Gabriel kept hidden in his desk, Olivia Chen, his ex-wife. "A son," Alessandra murmured, her finger tracing the image of the boy. "Oh, Gabriel, you fool!" Her mind raced, calculating the implications. A child could ruin everything, their carefully crafted life, their future plans, the empire they'd built together. She couldn't let that happen. With cold determination, Alessandra began to plot. She would not lose Gabriel, not to some long-lost family he'd abandoned years ago. The next day, Alessandra put her plan into motion. Dressed impeccably in a designer suit that screamed power and wealth, she drove her sleek sports car to Maple Street. Parking across from Olivia's house, she waited, watching. It didn't take long for her opportunity to present itself. As Liam emerged from the house, heading towards his bike, Alessandra stepped out of her car. "Hello, Liam," she called out, her voice honey-sweet. "Gabriel Reeves." Liam froze, his young face a mix of curiosity and wariness. "You know my biological dad?" Alessandra's smile widened. "Oh yes, very well indeed. In fact, I have a message from him. He wanted me to tell you how much he's looking forward to getting to know you." She could see the conflicting emotions play across Liam's face, hope, doubt, longing. It was almost too easy. "Really?" Liam asked, his guard lowering slightly. Alessandra nodded, her eyes gleaming. "Absolutely. In fact, he was hoping you might like to meet him for ice cream this afternoon. I'd be happy to take you, if your mother agrees. At that moment, the front door opened, and Olivia stepped out. Her eyes widened as she took in the scene before her, Alessandra's expensive car, her power suit, and Liam's eager expression. "Liam, come inside," Olivia said sharply, hurrying down the steps. Alessandra turned, her smile now predatory. "Ah, you must be Olivia. I've heard so much about you." Olivia positioned herself between Alessandra and Liam, her stance protective. "Who are you?" "Alessandra Cortez," she replied smoothly. "Gabriel's partner, in every sense of the word." The color drained from Olivia's face as understanding dawned. "Liam, go to your room, now." As Liam reluctantly went inside, Olivia turned back to Alessandra, her eyes flashing. "I don't know what game you're playing, but stay away from my son." Alessandra's facade of friendliness dropped. "Listen carefully, Olivia. Gabriel has a life, a successful one with me. Whatever misguided notion of family he's entertaining right now, it won't last. He'll remember where he belongs." "Is that a threat?" Olivia asked, her voice low. Alessandra smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Consider it a friendly warning. Don't get too comfortable with the idea of playing happy families. Gabriel will come to his senses soon enough. With that, Alessandra turned on her heel and strode back to her car. As she drove away, she caught a glimpse of Liam watching from an upstairs window. A pang of something, guilt, regret, flickered through her, but she pushed it aside. She had a life to protect, a future to secure, and she would do whatever it took to keep Gabriel by her side, no matter who got hurt in the process. As Alessandra's car disappeared down Maple Street, the weight of her words hung heavy in the air. Olivia stood rooted to the spot, her mind racing with the implications of this new threat. Inside, Liam pressed his face against the window, confusion and hurt etched across his young features. This moment of tension, fraught with unspoken fears and uncertain futures, leaves us wondering, how far will Alessandra go to keep Gabriel? Will Olivia be able to protect Liam from the brewing storm? And what about Gabriel himself, torn between the life he built and the family he left behind? In the complex web of emotions and motivations, it's hard not to feel for each character's perspective. Alessandra, driven by fear of losing the life she's grown accustomed to. Olivia, fiercely protective of the son she's raised alone. Liam, caught in the middle, yearning for a father he never knew. And Gabriel, grappling with the consequences of his past choices. As we reflect on this unfolding drama, we might find ourselves questioning, what would we do in their shoes? Is there a right path through this tangle of love, loyalty, and past mistakes? We'd love to hear your thoughts on this emotional crossroads. If you find yourself understanding or agreeing with any of the characters' perspectives, be it Alessandra's determination, Olivia's protectiveness, Liam's confusion, or Gabriel's desire for redemption, feel free to leave a comment with the number 1. Your insights could shed light on the many facets of this complex situation. Remember, in stories as in life, there are often no easy answers. But by sharing our views, we can explore the depths of human nature and the power of empathy. So, what do you think? Does any character's viewpoint particularly resonate with you? The tension in the Chen Holloway household had reached a breaking point. In the days following Alessandra's visit, Liam had grown increasingly withdrawn and sullen. Olivia and Jasper exchanged worried glances over dinner as Liam pushed his food around the plate, responding to questions with monosyllabic grunts. On a crisp Saturday morning, Olivia knocked gently on Liam's door. "Honey, how about we go to the park today? Maybe invite some of your friends." Silence greeted her. Frowning, Olivia opened the door, only to find an empty room and an open window. On the rumpled bed lay a hastily scribbled note, "I need to think. Don't look for me." Panic seized Olivia's heart. "Jasper," she cried out, her voice trembling, "Liam's gone." The next hours were a blur of frantic phone calls and desperate searches. Jasper combed the neighborhood while Olivia called Liam's friends and their parents. As the sun began to set with no sign of Liam, Olivia made the call she'd been dreading. "Gabriel," she said as soon as he answered, her voice choked with tears. "Liam's run away." Gabriel felt the world spin. "I'm on my way," he said, already rushing out the door. When Gabriel arrived, he found Olivia crying on the porch, Jasper's arm around her shoulders. For a moment, the three adults looked at each other, their past conflicts forgotten in the face of their shared fear for Liam. "We'll find him," Gabriel promised, his voice firm despite the terror gripping his heart. "We'll search every street, every park. He couldn't have gone far." They began their search, going through every place Liam might have gone. Each passing minute increased their desperation. As they searched, memories flooded their minds. Olivia remembered Liam's first steps, his tiny hand in hers as he toddled across the living room floor. Gabriel, hearing these stories, felt a renewed sense of loss for all the moments he'd missed. As night fell, bringing with it a cold drizzle, their fear grew. Where could a 10-year-old boy be in this vast city? It was Jasper who had the idea that would break the stalemate. "The old park," he said suddenly. "The one where you used to take him when he was little, Olivia. Remember how he loved that rusty old swing set?" Hope flared in Olivia's eyes. "Of course. Why didn't I think of that?" They rushed to the park, their hearts pounding. As they approached, Gabriel spotted a small figure huddled on a swing, head bowed against the light rain. "Liam." Olivia cried out, running towards her son. Liam looked up, his face tear-stained and miserable. "Mom? Dad, I mean Jasper? And Gabriel?" The three adults surrounded Liam, relief palpable in the air. "Why did you run away, champ?" Jasper asked gently, kneeling beside the swing. Liam's lower lip trembled. I don't know. Everything's so messed up. I don't know who to trust anymore. Who's lying? Who's telling the truth?" Gabriel stepped forward, his heart breaking at the pain in his son's voice. "Liam," he said softly, "I know this is confusing and scary, and I'm so sorry for the part one played in causing you this pain." Liam looked at Gabriel, really looked at him, perhaps for the first time. "Why did you leave us?" he asked, his voice small and hurt. Gabriel swallowed hard, fighting back tears. "I made a terrible mistake, Liam. I was young and foolish, and I thought I wanted things that seemed important at the time, money, success. But I was wrong. Leaving your mother, not knowing about you, it's the biggest regret of my life." Olivia, listening to Gabriel's words, felt a complex mix of emotions, anger at the past, a grudging respect for his honesty now, and an overwhelming love for her son. "Sweetheart," she said, stroking Liam's hair, "we all love you so much. Me, Jasper, and yes, Gabriel too. We haven't handled this situation well, and for that we're sorry. But we're here now, all of us, because you are the most important thing in our lives." Jasper nodded, adding, "We're not a conventional family, buddy, but we're your family, all of us. And we'll figure this out together, okay?" Liam looked at each of them in turn, the mother who had raised him, the stepfather who had loved him as his own, and the biological father he was just beginning to know. Slowly he nodded. As they walked back home, Liam between Olivia and Jasper, with Gabriel following slightly behind, they knew that this was just the beginning. There would be more discussions, more tears, more challenges to face, but they had taken the first step towards healing. Back at the house, as Olivia tucked and exhausted Liam into bed, Gabriel and Jasper found themselves alone in the living room. "Thank you," Gabriel said quietly, "for being there for them when I wasn't." Jasper nodded, his expression softening slightly. "I love them, both of them." "I can see that," Gabriel replied, "and I'm grateful. But I want you to know, I'm not going anywhere. I want to be part of Liam's life." The two men looked at each other, a silent understanding passing between them. They were still rivals in many ways, but they now shared a common purpose, Liam's happiness and well-being. As Gabriel left that night, the rain had stopped, and a few stars peeked through the clearing clouds. The future was still uncertain, but for the first time, it held a glimmer of hope. They had found Liam, not just physically, but perhaps emotionally too. And in doing so, they had found a new way forward for all of them. The morning after Liam's disappearance and subsequent return, Gabriel sat in his hotel room, staring at his phone. The events of the past few days had shaken him to his core, forcing him to reevaluate every aspect of his life. With a deep breath, he dialed a number he'd hoped never to use. Atticus Blackwood speaking, came the crisp voice of his longtime lawyer. "Atticus, it's Gabriel Reeves. I need your help. It's time to come clean." Across town, Alessandra paced her penthouse, fury etched on her face. Her plans to drive a wedge between Gabriel and his newfound family had backfired spectacularly. Now, she feared, she was losing her grip on the empire they'd built together. "Victor," she snapped into her phone, "I need everything you can find on Gabriel's business dealings over the last decade. Every transaction, every deal, everything." The next few weeks unfolded in a whirlwind of legal depositions, financial audits, and media speculation. Gabriel, true to his word, had confessed to years of financial improprieties, tax evasion, insider trading, and questionable business practices that had fueled his meteoric rise to wealth and power. As news of the scandal broke, Gabriel found himself at the center of a media firestorm. Photographers camped outside Olivia's house, shouting questions about the long-lost son and the family reunion amid legal troubles. Olivia, horrified by the invasion of privacy, tried to shield Liam from the chaos. "Mom, why are they here?" Liam asked, peering through the curtains at the sea of cameras. "It's complicated, sweetheart," Olivia replied, closing the curtains. "But it will pass. We just need to stay strong." Meanwhile, Gabriel faced the consequences of his actions in a packed courtroom. The prosecution painted a damning picture of a man driven by greed, willing to break the law for personal gain. Atticus Blackwood, seasoned as he was, struggled to mount an effective defense against the mountain of evidence. As the trial progressed, Gabriel found unexpected support from an unlikely source. Olivia, despite their troubled history, agreed to testify as a character witness. "Gabriel made terrible mistakes," she told the court, her voice steady. "But the man I've seen these past weeks, the man trying to make amends, to be there for his son, that's the Gabriel I once knew. The one I believe still exists beneath the mistakes." Her testimony brought tears to Gabriel's eyes and murmurs from the gallery. Even Jasper, watching from the back of the courtroom, felt a reluctant admiration for Olivia's capacity for forgiveness. But it was Liam's letter to the judge, read aloud by Atticus, that truly shifted the atmosphere in the courtroom. "I just met my dad," Liam had written in his childish scrawl. "I was angry at him for a long time for leaving us, but he's trying to make things right. He told me that facing the consequences of our actions is part of growing up. I think he's growing up now, even though he's a grown-up. Please give him a chance to keep growing and to be my dad." There wasn't a dry eye in the courtroom as Atticus finished reading the letter. Even the stern-faced judge seemed moved. In the end, the evidence of Gabriel's crimes was too substantial to ignore. The judge's gavel fell with a resounding crack, sealing Gabriel's fate. "Gabriel Reeves, this court finds you guilty of multiple counts of financial fraud and tax evasion." Gabriel stood, his face pale but composed, as the judge continued. "However, taking into account your voluntary confession, your efforts to make amends, and the unique family circumstances, I am sentencing you to 3 years in federal prison, followed by 5 years of probation. Additionally, you are ordered to pay full restitution of your illegally obtained gains." As the courtroom erupted in a buzz of voices, Gabriel turned to look at Olivia and Liam in the gallery. Liam's eyes were wide with fear and confusion, while Olivia's face showed a complex mix of relief and concern. Alessandra, seated at the back of the courtroom, stormed out, her face a mask of fury. Her own involvement in Gabriel's schemes had been carefully hidden, leaving her free but stripped of the wealth and status she'd grown accustomed to. As Gabriel was led away in handcuffs, he locked eyes with Liam one last time. "I'll make this right," he mouthed, hoping his son could understand. "I promise." Outside the courthouse, reporters clamored for statements. Olivia guided Liam through the crowd, Jasper acting as a shield against the flashing cameras. "Mom," Liam asked as they drove home, his voice small, "what happens now?" Olivia exchanged a glance with Jasper before answering. "Now, sweetheart, we take it one day at a time. Your father made mistakes, but he's trying to fix them, and we'll be here supporting you every step of the way." As they drove home in silence, each lost in their own thoughts, the future loomed uncertain. Gabriel's journey through the legal system was just beginning, and the road ahead for this unconventional family would be far from smooth. But in facing the truth and accepting the consequences, they had taken the first tentative steps towards healing and redemption. The harsh clang of metal doors echoed through the federal prison as Gabriel Reeves, once a titan of industry, now inmate number 24601, was led to his cell. The stark reality of his new life hit him like a physical blow. Gone were the tailored suits and corner office, replaced by a prison uniform and a cramped cell shared with a taciturn cellmate. The first few weeks were a blur of routines, rules, and annoying loneliness that threatened to consume him. But as the initial shock wore off, Gabriel found himself with something he'd never had before: time. Time to think, to reflect, and most importantly, to grow. He threw himself into every opportunity for self-improvement the prison offered. He attended group therapy sessions, confronting the deep-seated insecurities and fears that had driven his relentless pursuit of wealth and status. In these sessions, he began to unravel the complex web of his past, tracing his actions back to the abandonment he'd experienced as a child. "I became the very thing I hated," Gabriel confessed during one particularly emotional session. "I abandoned my family just like my father abandoned me." The prison librarian became a close confidant, recommending books on psychology, ethics, and personal growth. Gabriel devoured them all, filling notebook after notebook with insights and reflections. But the brightest spot in Gabriel's new life was visitation day. Every other weekend, Liam would come, sometimes with Olivia, sometimes with Jasper. These visits, although bittersweet, became the anchor Gabriel clung to. At first, the conversations were awkward, stilted. Liam, unsure how to act around this father he was just getting to know, would fidget in his seat, answering questions with monosyllabic responses. But as the months went by, something began to shift. Liam started bringing his schoolwork, proudly showing off his improving grades. "I got an A on my science project, Dad," he announced one day, his eyes shining. The word Dad sent a jolt through Gabriel's heart every time he heard it. They developed rituals, a game of chess each visit, discussions about the books they were both reading. Gabriel had started suggesting titles for Liam, and always, a hug at the beginning and end of each visit. Olivia noticed the changes in both Gabriel and Liam. The Gabriel she saw now reminded her of the man she'd fallen in love with years ago, thoughtful, engaged, his eyes clear and focused instead of always darting to the next big opportunity. "You're different," she remarked during one visit. Gabriel nodded, a rueful smile on his face. "I'm trying to be the man I should have been all along, the man you and Liam deserve." Even Jasper, who initially resisted these visits, couldn't deny the positive impact they were having on Liam. "He seems happier," Jasper admitted to Olivia one night, more settled. As his time in prison progressed, Gabriel's focus shifted from his own rehabilitation to how he could help others. He started tutoring fellow inmates working towards their GEDs, drawing on his business acumen to teach a class on financial literacy. "When I get out," he told Liam during one visit, "I want to use what I've learned to help people. Maybe work with a non-profit, help small businesses get started the right way." Liam's eyes lit up. "That's so cool, Dad. Maybe I could help too someday." Gabriel felt a warmth spread through his chest. "I'd like that very much, son." As the days ticked by, Gabriel found himself transforming. The ambitious, ruthless businessman was giving way to a more thoughtful, compassionate man, a man determined to make amends, to be the father and person he should have been all along. Each night, as he lay on his narrow prison bunk, Gabriel would think of Liam, of Olivia, even of Jasper. He'd made so many mistakes, caused so much pain, but now, finally, he was on the right path, and when he walked out of those prison gates, he vowed he would be a man his son could be proud of. As Gabriel Reeves continued his journey of redemption behind bars, the world outside didn't stand still. In a sleek office overlooking Chicago's bustling financial district, Victor Zhao, Gabriel's former business rival, pored over documents spread across his mahogany desk. His eyes glinted with a mix of triumph and malice as he pieced together the intricate web of Gabriel's past dealings. Well, Gabriel," Victor muttered to himself, a cold smile playing on his lips. "You may have confessed to some of your sins, but you've barely scratched the surface." Victor had been waiting years for this moment, patiently biding his time since Gabriel had outmaneuvered him in a ruthless takeover a decade ago. Now, with Gabriel vulnerable and his empire crumbling, Victor saw his chance for the ultimate revenge. Meanwhile, in a dimly lit bar across town, Alessandra Cortez nursed a cocktail, her mind racing with plans. The fall of Gabriel had hit her hard, stripping away the luxurious lifestyle she'd grown accustomed to. But Alessandra was nothing if not resilient. Her phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. "I have information that could bury Gabriel Reeves for good. Interested?" Alessandra's perfectly manicured nails tapped a quick reply, "Name your price." As these new threats began to coalesce, an unsettling calm had settled over the Chen Holloway household. Olivia and Jasper were cautiously optimistic about Liam's progress, noting how his regular visits with Gabriel seemed to be having a positive effect on the boy. One sunny afternoon, as Liam chatted excitedly about his latest visit with Gabriel, a sleek black car pulled up outside their house. A woman stepped out, her designer suit and sharp gaze immediately setting Olivia on edge. "Can I help you?" Olivia asked, stepping onto the porch. The woman smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Evelyn Frost, investigative journalist. "I'm working on a story about Gabriel Reeves and his family situation." Olivia's heart raced. "We have no comment. Please leave." But Evelyn wasn't deterred. "Mrs. Chen, I have sources suggesting that there's much more to Gabriel Reeves' story than what came out in court. Don't you think the public deserves to know the truth?" Before Olivia could respond, Liam appeared behind her. "Mom, what's going on?" Evelyn's eyes lit up at the sight of Liam. "You must be Liam. I'd love to hear your thoughts on your father." "That's enough." Jasper's voice boomed as he strode up the path, placing himself between Evelyn and his family. "You need to leave. Now." As Evelyn retreated to her car, she called out, "This story will come out, with or without your cooperation. Better to control the narrative while you can." Inside, Olivia and Jasper exchanged worried glances. "What do you think she knows?" Olivia whispered. Jasper shook his head. "I don't know, but we need to warn Gabriel." The next day, during their visit to the prison, Olivia and Jasper relayed the encounter to Gabriel. His face paled as he listened. "There are things," Gabriel said slowly, his voice low, "things I didn't disclose during the trial. I thought they were buried deep enough." Olivia felt a chill run down her spine. "Gabriel, what are you saying?" Before he could answer, a commotion erupted in the visitation room. Guards rushed in, surrounding their table. Gabriel Reeves, one announced gruffly, "You're being transferred. New evidence has come to light in your case." As Gabriel was led away, he locked eyes with Olivia. "Protect Liam," he mouthed, fear evident in his eyes. Olivia and Jasper left the prison in a daze, their minds reeling. As they drove home in tense silence, Olivia's phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "Mrs. Chen, this is Evelyn Frost. I'm giving you one last chance to tell your side of the story before it breaks. Trust me, you want to get ahead of this." Attached was a photo, grainy but clear enough to make out Gabriel shaking hands with a known criminal figure, dated just weeks before his arrest. Olivia's hand trembled as she showed the message to Jasper. "What do we do?" she whispered. Jasper gripped the steering wheel tightly. "We fight," he said firmly. "We protect our family, no matter what." As they pulled into their driveway, they noticed Liam in his window, waving excitedly. Despite the storm brewing around them, Olivia and Jasper managed weak smiles and waves in return. They knew that the fragile peace they'd built was about to be shattered. The question was, would their unconventional family be strong enough to weather the coming storm? 3 years passed in a blur of prison visits, school days, and an uneasy truce between the adults in Liam's life. Now 13, Liam Chen Reeves stood on the cusp of adolescence, a complex mix of the boy he had been and the young man he was becoming. The day of Gabriel's release from prison dawned bright and clear. Liam fidgeted in the backseat as Olivia drove them to the correctional facility, his emotions a turbulent mix of excitement and apprehension. "What if he's different, Mom?" Liam asked, his voice small. "What if he doesn't like who I'd have become?" Olivia reached back to squeeze his knee. "Sweetheart, your father loves you. That hasn't changed, and it won't change." As Gabriel emerged from the prison gates, Liam was struck by how much older his father looked. The designer suits were gone, replaced by simple jeans and a button-down shirt. But when Gabriel's eyes met Liam's, the love and pride shining in them were unmistakable. The reunion was emotional, filled with long hugs and tears barely held at bay. But as the days passed, the challenge of reintegrating Gabriel into their lives became apparent. Liam, used to the stability provided by Olivia and Jasper, found himself torn between loyalty to the father he was getting to know and the family unit he'd grown up with. It was during this tumultuous time that Liam met Zach Wolf, a charismatic 15-year-old who exuded an aura of danger and excitement. Zach seemed to understand Liam's inner turmoil in a way no one else did. "Parents just don't get it, man," Zach would say, passing Liam a cigarette behind the school gym. "They're all caught up in their own drama. We got to look out for ourselves." Liam, desperate to assert his independence and grappling with the complex emotions surrounding his family situation, found himself drawn deeper into Zach's world. Skipped classes turned into shoplifting dares, and experimentation with alcohol wasn't far behind. Olivia and Jasper noticed the changes in Liam, his sudden mood swings, the smell of smoke on his clothes, his dropping grades. They tried to talk to him, but Liam shut them out, retreating further into his shell. Gabriel, still finding his footing in the world outside prison, felt helpless. "I don't know how to reach him," he confessed to Olivia one evening. "I feel like I'm failing him all over again." The situation came to a head one Friday night when the police called. Liam and Zach had been caught trying to steal a car. As Olivia, Jasper, and Gabriel rushed to the police station, each felt the weight of their own guilt and fear. At the station, they found Liam huddled in a chair, looking younger and more vulnerable than he had in years. When he saw them, his tough facade crumbled, and he burst into tears. "I'm sorry," he sobbed as Olivia enveloped him in a hug. "I'm so sorry. I didn't know how to handle everything." Gabriel knelt in front of his son, his heart breaking. "Liam, look at me," he said gently. When Liam's tear-filled eyes met his, Gabriel continued, "I know things have been confusing and hard, and a lot of that is my fault. But you have so many people who love you, who want to help you. You don't have to face this alone." Jasper stepped forward, placing a hand on Liam's shoulder. "We're all here for you, buddy, no matter what." As they left the police station, Liam walking between Olivia and Jasper with Gabriel following close behind, they knew this was a turning point. The road ahead wouldn't be easy, but they were committed to facing it together as the unconventional but loving family they had become. In the weeks following Liam's brush with the law, a fragile peace settled over the blended family. However, beneath the surface, emotions simmered and shifted like tectonic plates, threatening to erupt at any moment. Olivia found herself caught in a whirlwind of conflicting feelings. As she watched Gabriel interact with Liam, she glimpsed shadows of the man she had once loved. His gentleness, his patience, the way his eyes crinkled when he smiled. It all stirred memories she thought long buried. One evening, as they sat on the porch after Liam had gone to bed, Olivia found herself opening up to Gabriel. "You've changed," she said softly, her eyes fixed on the distant streetlights. Gabriel nodded, a rueful smile playing on his lips. "Prison has a way of forcing you to face yourself. I had a lot of time to think about my mistakes, about the people I hurt." He paused, his voice lowering. "Especially you, Olivia." Their eyes met, and for a moment, the years seemed to fall away. Olivia felt a flutter in her chest, a sensation both familiar and frightening. She quickly looked away, guilt washing over her as she thought of Jasper. Jasper, ever perceptive, sensed the shift in dynamics. He watched the easy rapport between Olivia and Gabriel with a mixture of understanding and fear. Late at night, as Olivia slept beside him, Jasper grappled with his own insecurities. He loved Olivia and Liam fiercely, but a nagging voice in his head whispered doubts. Would he always be the outsider in this family unit? Meanwhile, Gabriel found himself navigating unfamiliar emotional terrain. His love for Liam was a constant, growing stronger with each day, but he also felt drawn to Olivia, their shared history and renewed connection tugging at his heart. At the same time, a new feeling was blossoming, respect and gratitude towards Jasper for being there when he wasn't. Adding another layer of complexity, Gabriel had begun volunteering at a local community center, part of his efforts to make amends and rebuild his life. There, he met Alina, a kind-hearted social worker whose warmth and lack of judgment drew him in. As they worked together on various projects, Gabriel felt a spark of connection, different from what he felt for Olivia, but intriguing nonetheless. One day, as they shared coffee after a long volunteer session, Elena asked, "Have you thought about dating again, Gabriel?" The question caught him off guard. I'm not sure I'm ready," he stammered. "My situation is complicated." Elena nodded understandingly. "Life usually is, but don't close yourself off to possibilities." Her words echoed in Gabriel's mind as he drove home, adding to the turmoil of his emotions. He cared deeply for Olivia and was grateful for her forgiveness. But was there a future there? And what about Alina? The possibility of a fresh start, unburdened by the weight of the past, was tempting. As Gabriel pulled into the driveway, he saw Olivia, Jasper, and Liam laughing together in the front yard. The sight filled him with both joy and a twinge of sadness. Where did he fit in this picture? The coming weeks would force each of them to confront their feelings, to make choices that would shape their futures. The question remained, could this unconventional family find a way forward that honored all their complex emotions and relationships? If these intricate emotional dynamics resonate with you, or if you've ever found yourself navigating complex feelings in a blended family situation, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you experienced the pull of past relationships while trying to move forward? Or perhaps you've been in Jasper's position, feeling like an outsider in an established family unit. If these themes of love, loyalty, and the challenges of redefining family speak to you, feel free to leave a comment with the number 1. Your insights could provide valuable perspective on the complexities of modern family structures and the delicate balance between honoring the past and embracing new possibilities. The delicate balance of the Chen Reeves Holloway family was shattered one stormy night when Liam, now 14, failed to return home from school. As hours ticked by with no word, panic set in. Olivia, Gabriel, and Jasper set aside their complex emotions, united in their fear for Liam's safety. "I'll check his usual hangouts," Jasper said, grabbing his car keys. "I'll call his friends," Olivia added, her voice trembling as she reached for her phone. Gabriel stood, his face pale. "I think I know where he might be." As rain lashed against the windows, the 3 adults split up, each following their instincts in search of Liam. The storm outside mirrored the turbulence of their emotions. Fear for Liam's safety mingled with guilt, each wondering if their complex family dynamics had driven the boy away. Gabriel's hunch led him to an abandoned warehouse where he and Liam had once talked about Gabriel's past mistakes. As he approached, he heard voices, one unmistakably Liam's, raised in anger. "You said you'd help me forget. You said this stuff would make it all go away." Gabriel's blood ran cold. He burst through the door to find Liam facing off against Zach Wolf, a bag of pills between them. "Liam," Gabriel shouted, his voice cutting through the tension. Liam spun around, his eyes wide with a mix of shame and defiance. "Dad, what are you?" But before he could finish, Zach panicked. He shoved Liam hard, sending him stumbling backwards. Liam's head struck a metal beam with a sickening thud, and he crumpled to the ground. What followed was a blur of frantic activity. Gabriel scooped up his unconscious son, his heart pounding with terror. Zach fled into the night as Gabriel rushed Liam to the hospital, calling Olivia and Jasper on the way. Hours later, they all sat in the sterile hospital waiting room, the beeping of machines a constant reminder of the fragility of life. Olivia sobbed quietly, leaning against Jasper, while Gabriel paced, his face a mask of anguish. When the doctor finally emerged, They held their breath. "Liam's stable," he announced, bringing a collective sigh of relief. "But he's not out of the woods yet. The next 24 hours will be critical." As they were allowed into Liam's room, the sight of him lying pale and still, hooked up to various machines, brought home the gravity of the situation. In that moment, all the petty jealousies, unresolved feelings, and complex dynamics that had been plaguing them seemed trivial. Olivia took one of Liam's hands, Jasper the other. Gabriel stood at the foot of the bed, his eyes never leaving his son's face. In the quiet of the hospital room, with only the steady beep of the heart monitor breaking the silence, a transformation began to take place. "I'm so sorry," Gabriel whispered, his voice choked with emotion. "If I had been a better father, if I had been there from the beginning." "Stop," Olivia interjected, her voice gentle but firm. "We all share responsibility here. We've been so caught up in our own feelings, our own drama, that we lost sight of what really matters, Liam." Jasper nodded, squeezing Liam's hand. "We've been pulling him in different directions, each wanting to be the most important in his life, but that's not fair to him." As the night wore on, they talked, really talked, for the first time in years. They shared their fears, their regrets, and their hopes for Liam's future. Slowly, a new understanding began to form. "We need to stop thinking of ourselves as separate units competing for Liam's love," Olivia said. "We're all his family, different pieces of a whole." Gabriel nodded, a weight lifting from his shoulders. "You're right. Liam needs all of us working together, not against each other." As dawn broke, Liam began to stir. His eyes fluttered open, taking in the sight of all three of his parents surrounding his bed, united in their love for him. "Mom? Dad? Jasper?" he croaked, his voice weak but alert. "We're here, sweetheart," Olivia soothed, tears of relief streaming down her face. "We're all here." In the days that followed, as Liam recovered, a new family dynamic began to emerge. Gone was the underlying tension, replaced by a sense of shared purpose. They were no longer ex-wife, ex-husband, and new partner, but simply three adults committed to raising a child they all loved. Gabriel made the difficult decision to pursue a relationship with Elena, with Olivia's blessing. Jasper found his footing as Liam's stepfather, secure in the knowledge that his role was valued and respected by both Olivia and Gabriel. As for Liam, surrounded by the unconditional love and support of his unique family, he began to heal, not just physically but emotionally as well. The road ahead would not be easy, but they would face it together, as the family they were always meant to be. 5 years had passed since that fateful night in the hospital. The Chen Reeves Holloway family stood together on the lush green lawn of Liam's high school, pride radiating from their faces as they watched him accept his diploma. Liam, now a young man of 19, his face beaming with accomplishment, scanned the crowd until he found them, his unconventional but loving family. Olivia, her eyes glistening with happy tears, clutched Jasper's hand tightly. Jasper stood tall, his chest puffed out with paternal pride, and there was Gabriel arm in arm with Elena, both wearing expressions of pure joy. As Liam made his way through the sea of graduates and well-wishers, he was engulfed in a group hug that encompassed all the adults who had shaped his life. "We're so proud of you, sweetheart," Olivia said, her voice thick with emotion. "You did it, champ," Jasper added, ruffling Liam's hair affectionately. Gabriel, his eyes suspiciously moist, simply pulled Liam into a tight embrace. "I love you, son," he whispered. Later, at the graduation party held in the backyard of the Chen Holloway home, the atmosphere was one of celebration and reflection. Liam, surrounded by friends and family, couldn't help but marvel at the journey that had brought them all to this point. As the evening wore on, Liam found a quiet moment with Gabriel near the old oak tree that had been a constant through all the changes in his life. "Dad," Liam began, his voice serious, "I want you to know I'm grateful for everything, even the hard stuff. It made me who I am." Gabriel felt a lump form in his throat. "Liam, But Liam wasn't finished. "I used to be so angry, so confused, but now I see that I'm lucky. I have more love in my life than most people could ever dream of." Gabriel pulled his son into a fierce hug, words failing him. When they parted, both had tears in their eyes. Across the yard, Olivia watched the exchange with a smile. Jasper, noticing her gaze, wrapped an arm around her waist. "We did good, didn't we?" he said softly. Olivia leaned into him, nodding. "We really did." As the party wound down, the core family, Liam, Olivia, Jasper, Gabriel, and Elena, found themselves gathered around the patio table, sharing stories and laughter. "Remember when Liam tried to run away to become a circus performer?" Jasper chuckled. Liam groaned good-naturedly. "I was 8, and in my defense I was really good at juggling." "Oh please," Olivia laughed. "You could barely juggle 2 tennis balls." The The conversation flowed easily, years of tension and uncertainty washed away by shared experiences and mutual respect. Gabriel and Jasper, once rivals, now shared a bond forged through their love for Liam. Olivia and Elena had developed a warm friendship, united in their affection for Gabriel and their roles in Liam's life. As the night grew late, Liam cleared his throat, drawing everyone's attention. "I have an announcement to make," he said, a hint of nervousness in his voice. "I've decided where I'm going to college." All eyes were on him as he continued. "I've accepted a scholarship to study social work at the University of Chicago." A chorus of congratulations erupted, but Liam wasn't done. "I want to help kids from complicated family situations, to show them that family isn't about perfect circumstances, it's about love and commitment, no matter what form it takes." Silence fell as the weight of Liam's words sank in. Each adult at the table felt a swell of emotion, recognizing the impact their journey had had on Liam's choice. Gabriel was the first to speak. "Liam, I am so incredibly proud of you. You've taken our mistakes, our struggles, and turned them into something beautiful." Olivia wiped a tear from her cheek. "You're going to change lives, sweetheart, just like you changed ours." As the evening came to a close, they all stood together, looking up at the star-filled sky. The path that had brought them to this moment had been fraught with challenges, misunderstandings, and pain, but it had also been filled with growth, forgiveness, and an abundance of love. Liam, standing in the center of his family, felt a profound sense of peace. He had not one, not two, but 4 parents who loved him unconditionally. Their journey had been far from perfect, but it was theirs, and he wouldn't change it for the world. As they said their goodnights, each heading to their respective homes, there was a shared understanding that they had created something rare and precious. A family bound not by traditional definitions, but by choice, perseverance, and unwavering love. Liam, the last to leave, hugged each of his parents in turn. "Thank you," he said simply, his words carrying the weight of years of gratitude. As he drove away, Liam glanced in his rearview mirror. There stood his family, Olivia and Jasper arm in arm, Gabriel with his arm around Elena, all waving goodbye. Liam smiled, his heart full. He was heading towards his future, secure in the knowledge that no matter where life took him, he had a strong foundation of love and support to fall back on. The Chen Reeves Holloway family had weathered storms, faced their demons, and come out stronger. They had redefined what family meant, creating a tapestry of love that was uniquely their own. And in doing so, they had given Liam the greatest gift of all, the understanding that family, in all its complex, messy, beautiful forms, was the most powerful force of all. As we reflect on the journey of the Chen Reeves Holloway family, we're reminded that love, in its purest form, knows no boundaries. It doesn't conform to traditional structures or societal expectations. Instead, it adapts, grows, and flourishes in the most unexpected places. This story teaches us that family isn't defined by blood alone, but by the choices we make every day. It's about showing up, even when it's difficult. It's about forgiveness, even when the pain runs deep. It's about putting aside our own egos for the greater good of those we love. Remember, we all carry wounds from our past, just like Gabriel, Olivia, and Jasper. But these scars don't have to define us. Instead, they can be the very thing that connects us to others, that makes us more compassionate, more understanding. To those of you struggling with complex family dynamics, know that you're not alone. Your path may be challenging, but it's also uniquely beautiful. Embrace the complexity, for it is in these intricate relationships that we often find our greatest strength and most profound love. And to the Liams of the world, the children caught in the middle of adult decisions and conflicts, you are not a burden. You are a bridge. Your capacity to love multiple parents, to navigate complex emotions, to forgive and understand, these are superpowers. You have the ability to heal generational wounds and redefine what family means. In the end, isn't that what we all want? To love and be loved, to belong, to create a safe haven in this chaotic world. So let's celebrate all forms of family. Let's honor the step-parents who choose to love children as their own, the exes who find a way to co-parent with grace, the new partners who respect the past while building a future. Your family may not look like everyone else's, and that's okay. It's more than okay, it's beautiful, because in its imperfection, in its complexity, in its ability to weather storms and come out stronger, it is perfectly, uniquely yours. So tonight, reach out to those you call family, whether they're related by blood, law, or simply by love. Tell them what they mean to you. Forgive if you need to, apologize if you must, because in the end, it's not about creating a perfect family. It's about creating a family that perfectly loves each other, flaws and all. As we close this chapter of the Chen Reeves Holloway family's journey, we invite you to reflect on your own experiences with family love and forgiveness. Has their story touched a chord in your heart? Perhaps you've faced similar challenges or found strength in unexpected places. We'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. If this tale of unconventional family bonds and the power of love resonates with you, please leave a comment below. Share your own story, your insights, or simply a word of encouragement for others who might be navigating similar waters. Remember, your voice matters, and your experiences could be the beacon of hope someone else needs. Did you find value in this story? Did it make you laugh, cry, or see family dynamics in a new light? If so, please consider subscribing to our channel. By doing so, you'll ensure you don't miss out on more compelling stories that explore the complexities of human relationships and the enduring power of love. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to join our community of storytellers and story lovers. Together, we can continue to explore the beautiful, messy, and ultimately rewarding journey of family in all its forms. Remember, every subscription is more than just a number to us. It's a connection, a shared understanding that stories have the power to change hearts and minds. So subscribe now, and let's continue this journey together. Thank you for being part of our story. We can't wait to share more with you and hear your own tales of love, family, and resilience. Until next time, keep loving, keep forgiving, and keep believing in the power of family, however you define it.